Okay, we're here today with Yanky Daskal, who is the leader of the Shomrim, and they play such an important role in our community. They are always there when there is a problem, when there's an issue, and I've often said that many times they make more arrests than even the local police, and we love the local police, but they are out there, they are our eyes and ears. And we want to talk...
It means the police make the arrest, but we...
You're right, yeah, you don't make the arrest, but you hand over the bad guys to the police. One of the things we want to talk about are issues of safety. There's nothing more important. Our children, our families are the most precious thing we have. And we want to make sure that when people leave their homes, when people go out to do things, we want to make sure they also come home at night. We also want to make sure that they are safe. And there are things that everyone can do that will ensure greater security and greater safety for the children and also for the adults. Not just the children, but also the adults. It's about avoiding tragedy, and we're going to talk about some of those issues. I'd like to mention the first one, something that is extremely dangerous, and that is cars passing school buses. The school buses have their stop sign up. It is a serious criminal thing to pass a school bus. And I know that we experience this on a regular basis.
That's correct. We experience it, and not only we have seen a video that the car couldn't pass the bus. He went onto the sidewalk to pass the bus. And forget about the safety of the kids. Safety of the people on the sidewalk, safety of the people of the bus letting go of the kid, because he doesn't see the car passing. And this is one of the major things, major topics that the CEO Dano had with the meeting. I guess it was with you.
Right.
That he will penalize, and they do, but people don't sometimes care.
We are going to ask them again and again. The police department, the inspector Dedo, and they do an amazing job, and he is one of the great leaders of the New York City Police Department. We're going to ask them to be even tougher. I want to see more police officers in the morning on 14th Avenue and some of the other streets. I mean, again, when you pass a school bus, you are endangering someone's child. It's that simple. I know you're in a rush. I know you want to get to work. I know you want to get to Minyan, to davening, whatever it is in the world. I understand that. But you cannot pass a school bus under any circumstances, even if the school bus is a little delayed.
I suggested to him, like they did in upstate, that an officer should ride with a school bus. Not a real school bus. Just to catch the people, knowing that maybe this is the real one. Opening the door, and if the car passes, radios ahead to another police car, that this and this plate number, he passed the bus. Just the people in the community should know that there is, over there, the police are watching.
Yeah, let us be clear that I would say that 95% or more of people do not pass school buses. Correct. But there are individuals, and they are endangering someone's life, plain and simple.
Another issue, it could be your own kid.
Precisely. Another issue that we have discussed, that I still see things like that going on, is when parents are pushing strollers, and the stroller is in the street, the mother's on the sidewalk, and guess what? Talking on the telephone. You know what I see sometimes? Even when they're crossing the street, they're still talking on the telephone.
And they're not looking.
It takes a moment. We're right now outside of 48th Street, my office. Right outside here, cars in one lane make the turn onto 13th Avenue. People don't look. If you don't look, that car that has a right to make that turn, you're on the telephone. By the way, an accident takes 1 second to happen. 1 single second. That's it. God forbid.
And being distracted on the phone, you don't look. You push the carriage out. So who's first to get hit? The baby. That's the first. So, yes, the mother too, but the baby's first. And I don't think you should jeopardize, because you have to be on the phone, your kid.
But also keeping the carriage in the street. Please, when you have a red light, keep the baby carriage with you on the sidewalk. Period. Simple thing. People don't realize that nobody means anything, but it is dangerous to have the baby carriage. I had this yesterday. Two women with a baby carriage, they were in the street. I think they were bothered by the fact that I was trying to move and they might have to get on the sidewalk. But it's about safety. It's about saving life and limb. That's what we're talking about here.
I also know that you had a year ago or so the safety straps, reflectors for the adults.
Absolutely.
At night, more so when it rains and the wipers don't work so good sometimes.
Absolutely.
And people cross the street and sometimes they cross the middle of
You don't see them.
You don't see them.
Yeah.
Like they do upstate. I know in Muncie everyone walks with the reflectors because it's very dark. Here it's not so dark, but you're still talking about safety to drivers. But if you have the reflector,
we are working now onto making them available for people in the community. We did it a year or two ago,
right.
And we're going to do it again. I want you to know, the night of the tragedy in our community, Nebuch, where that 10-year-old girl was killed, the mother should be well and so on. That night, I was driving. Here in Brooklyn. I have to tell you, I had a difficult time. I drive a nice new car. The windshield wipers were working. But I have to tell you, someone crossed the middle of the block, and I said, oh my God, I need to concentrate more. Sometimes we drive and we don't concentrate completely, and it was a terrible night that night.
Yeah. So you mean even if it's not your fault if you would have hit him, but it's still bad that you didn't see him.
It doesn't matter whose fault it is.
Right.
God forbid, when we're involved in an accident, and it wasn't the driver's fault.
Right.
So what? If we can be extra careful, you might be saving a life, literally. Literally. These are some of the issues regarding safety, and Yanky and I will continue to bring these messages to the community, things that are going on that we just want to alert people. Sometimes you just don't think. You're busy, you're running, you're going. When a light changes here in our community, the cars, the 4 or 5 cars behind the car in the front, everybody's peeping right away, even though the guy didn't have a chance to, it just happened, the light just changed. I think we all, starting with me, we all need to have a little more patience.
You just brought up another subject. The light is changing already and it's yellow, and you're running to get that yellow light to cross the street. That's another tragedy that you can avoid sometimes.
Absolutely. And the last car who just wants to get through, that's where accidents happen, because you don't get a chance to see clearly. Sometimes you don't see clearly in terms of cars in front of you, that someone actually might be turning. Somebody might be walking. Or let's say not everybody is 6'2", where you can see them clearly. You have children, little children. You have little children going to school, 2 or 3 children. One may be 8, 9, and the other one is 5, and the other one you sometimes see, Baruch Hashem, in our community is a community of children, and kids are walking. And if you're not careful, you can't even see that someone is actually crossing the street. So you got to be very, very careful.